Alright, so here's the valve cover, right? So you can see where it's been pissing oil heavily. Entire valve cover gasket's covered, or valve cover itself is covered. I've had the gasket for about 1.5 years now. It's just that I didn't want to take the entire intake off. So I'm lazy like that. Plus I didn't want to fuck with the EGR. Well, believe it or not, the EGR nut down there off the manifold came apart like butter. What gave me the most trouble was the intake manifold bolts. The hex inside of them was wanting to round out because they were too tight. So I had to have my ex pick up extractor sockets because mine are at work and I can't go to work for the next 10 days. So got these out finally. You can see where it's starting to get crusty, but got them out. They weren't that bad. It's just from where they're crappy metal and I have nice snap-on tools, they didn't want to come out. So now I'm gonna figure out a way of getting this valve cover off because I'm not taking this off. You got two hoses in the back, one short straight one and one 90-degree elbow one. I don't think I can get new ones that are pre-bent for this without waiting forever. They're not going to come off because they're old. They've never been removed since they were put on at the factory. So everybody at the Nissan I work at, they just block this up, support it, you know, with 2x4 under here or bungee cord from the hood, and they take it out that way, and then they put it back vice versa. But we'll attempt to do that. But yeah, it's just, you get two hoses back there that are a royal pain in the ass to get to. But yeah, so far ain't that bad. I have to get a new intake manifold gasket. I thought I could salvage the other one. Turns out I can't. It was probably the original one, honestly, because it was starting to rust up and flaking apart. So, and I noticed there was some blow by in it. So might as well replace it while I'm this far, because I don't want to do this again. And I think I don't want to have to remove the distributor to get to that nut right there. I hope not, because timing this thing was not easy, because when I first got it, I slung a belt and it smacked the timing mark, because it's like a little piece of metal that sticks out right by your harmonic balancer, and it smacked it and it bent it all to shit. So yeah, you can't quite see it, but yeah, pissing oil everywhere. I mean, at least nothing's gonna rust under there, you know. Preventative maintenance. I can't quite talk because my nose is stocked up. And I tell you one thing, this COVID, man, it's a bitch and a half. Well, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to say 7. I think 8 screws. They're all number 2 Phillips. Why? I don't know. It's pointless. You always strip the heads on these every time. Good news is you can go to the hardware store and get replacement bolts with hexes, but yeah, you can strip the threads out way easier because it's an aluminum block. So, and we'll figure out what I can do tonight, so that way I have a head start tomorrow if it's not raining. If it's raining, I gotta stay indoors all day because the risk of ammonia is greatly increased right now. But apparently this weekend is supposed to be relatively nice, so we shall see. So this right here is the bungee cord method. You just wrap it up nice and tight, and then that way you have all this extra space. It's not much, but anything helps, right? Since there ain't much videos on these cars anyways. Alright, so before my phone dies, the cause of the leak was this right here was cracked. I was peeling it off while talking to my brother, FaceTime with him and teaching him about mechanics. How's my light? My phone's too low. But it was cracked and flashlight. iPhones, I fucking hate them. But come on, work with me here. It was cracked, kind of like this, and it was just piss and oil. So I mean, you can just hear the, yeah, it's not supposed to be that hard. So that was the cause of it, and half of my lifters are loose like the other side, so it's like a proper LS with lifter tick. So that's not that bad of a job, it's just cold. So, yep. How else am I supposed to clean it? Ain't got a parts washer here. Oh well. Ain't got a dishwasher either, so bathtub and scrubbing it by hand will have to do. Oh well. Alright, so it's Christmas Eve day. I just picked up the new intake manifold gasket. Well, I didn't pick it up. I had my mother go get it. But basically, I'm gonna go over everything I did from last night. So I just put on new valve cover gasket, cleaned it all up in the bathtub, you know. Oh well, the best I can, because I have the parts washer at work, and that's what I normally do, pressure wash it, and then throw it in parts washer. Well, for the 3.3s, you got this intake plenum, and you got two hoses in the back. You got this 90-degree bend, and then you got a straight hose back here. In order to fully remove this, you'd have to cut that. Cut both those lines. Reason being is these clamps a lot of times get seized or break in these hoses. Well, they're hoses. They don't want to come off. So you got to cut them. The thing is, I don't know if I can get these from Nissan, because I know a lot of things in my car I cannot get anymore. It's just the nature of the beast. But so if you get everything undone but those two, you know, your throttle cable has to come undone, but everything to be able to be lifted up, wedge it, kind of like how I have a screwdriver right here. Plop it up, and it gives you plenty of working room and able to pull it in and out. That way you can still access the screws in the back. They're kind of a pain in the ass. My tip would be use like a little, I know I have a Matco Phillips head screwdriver. It's about this tall. It's perfect, fits in the palm of your hand to turn. I don't have that. That's in my box at work, but use something about this small, you know, for reference. I mean, that's 6 inches, right? 6-inch light bulb. Use something about 4 inches or 3, whatever have you. But don't use cheap tools like this. Try to find a really good number 2 Phillips head screwdriver to fit into here, because these heads are stupid easy to strip and round out. You don't want to, you know, ungodly torque them down either, because it's a little block. You can go to the hardware store and find the right thread, pitch, bolt to fit this, in case you have to replace one. Or if you just want to make it easier on yourself and replace all of them with, you know, hex. Not hex, but, you know, actual bolts. You can. I forget the thread pitch of them, but a simple Google search will find you. Other than that, you know, when you're in here, you just might as well replace your intake gasket. Wipe down the surface, obviously. Mine's all gummied up. I mean, it's just nasty in there. And while you're at it, get rid of your EGR if you don't have emissions. Yeah, department manager's gonna be pissed. It's dumped a bunch of mud, but a block off plate for a 302 small block Chevy will fit on here. So I'm gonna block it off permanently. I don't know what I'm gonna do about the manifold side, because, you know, that kind of plugs in there like a slug. So yeah, so I'm gonna completely delete EGR. That means all my emissions are done motor wise, because I ain't got no cats, no secondary cats. EGR will be out. and that's it. So, yep. And I'm not worried about an engine code because I already have an engine code. But here's the old intake manifold gasket. It's, you know, flaking apart and whatnot. So it's rusty. So the new one is paper. This one's, you know, stamped steel. This is what the new one's going to look like. It threw me off because, you know, that's nice and straight. This is, you know, pointy. So I might have to trim it. I'm not sure yet. But yeah. The bolts for the EGR are too long just to butt up against the plate, and the nuts in the back, and it stuck out about that far. So I needed a spacer. Well, I don't have any scrap spacers or anything, so 2 3/8 blue point sockets are going to have to do for now. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. Am I right? Or am I right? Stupid like a fox.